Everybody's running around saying, oh, DOGE is firing people. Oh, no. Oh, gosh, they're letting people go. Oh, no. Oh, woe is us. Woe is me. It's so sad. It's so sad. Well, I want to go back. We'll just wind the old POSO Wayback Machine here a little bit to remind you how the Biden administration acted when all of the pipeline workers got fired from their jobs and got laid off because of their policies. And by the way, this isn't federal workers. This is actual pipeline workers, blue collar workers, salt of the earth people that actually make this country run. Let's go back and see how Jen Psaki reacted when she was informed that thousands of oil workers would be losing their jobs.
Thank you, Jen. I do have a question on COVID, but first on energy. When is it that the Biden administration is going to let the thousands of fossil fuel industry workers, whether it's pipeline workers or construction workers, who are either out of work or will soon be out of work because of a Biden EO, when it is and where it is that they can go for their green job? And that is something the administration has promised. There is now a gap. So I'm just curious when that happens, when those people can count on that.
Well, I'd certainly welcome you to present your data of all the thousands and thousands of people who won't be getting a green job. Maybe next time you're here, you can present that.
But you said that they would be getting green jobs, so I'm just asking when that happens. Richard Trumka, who is a friend, longtime friend of Joe Biden, says about that day one Keystone EO, he says, I wish he, the president, had paired that more carefully with the thing that he did second by saying, here's where we are creating the jobs. So there's partial evidence from Richard Trumka.
Well, you didn't include all of his interview. Would you like to include the rest?
So how about this? The Laborers International Union of North America said the Keystone decision will cost 1,000 existing union jobs and 10,000 projected construction jobs.
Well, what Mr. Trumka also indicated in the same interview was that President Biden has proposed a climate plan with transformative investments in infrastructure and laid out a plan that will not only create millions of good union jobs, but also help tackle the climate crisis. And as the president has indicated when he gave his primetime address to talk about the American Rescue Plan, he talked about his plans to also put forward a jobs plan in the weeks or months following, and he has every plan to do exactly that.
But there are people living paycheck to paycheck. There are now people out of jobs once the Keystone Pipeline stopped construction. It's been 12 days since Gina McCarthy and John Kerry were here, and it's been 19 days since that EO. So what are these people who need money now? When do they get their green job?
Well, the president and many Democrats and Republicans in Congress believe that investment in infrastructure, building infrastructure that's in our national interests and that boosts the U.S. economy, creates good-paying union jobs here in America, and advances our climate and clean energy goals are something that we can certainly work on doing together. And he has every plan to share more about his details of that plan in the weeks ahead.
Well, and there you go, Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki going and telling all the pipeline workers, telling them they can go and get green jobs. You can go and get some green jobs. More than happy to have that. Don't worry about going down to the mines. Don't worry about laying pipes. Don't worry about the construction jobs. You're all going to be losing those. By the way, there was another clip I posted up on X this morning of President Biden himself back in 2019 when he was talking about this. And he was also asked, they said, look, these policies are clearly going to lead to people in these industries losing their jobs. And he said, you can learn to program. Learn to program. He said, if you can go down a mine, you can learn to program. If you can be a firefighter, you can learn to program. And I spent the entire morning just digging up these clips of Biden telling workers to go learn to program. Jen Psaki, one of the more egregious ones, saying go get green jobs. And you know, and I love Doozy right there. Where did they go to get the green jobs? Did they just magically fall out of a hat? No, of course, that's not actually what happened. Joy Reid, who, my gosh, I got to get the violin out for old Joy. Got to get the violin out. Joyless Reid is losing her job at MSNBC. I tried so hard. I gave her so much content over the years. She's the only person on MSNBC that's ever actually let me on her show all the way back in 2016, and she'll be losing her job the same way she lost her hair. It's very sad, but at the same time, I hope that she'll be able to sit and reflect with herself just a little bit more about all the horrible things that she said and done that led her to the situation she's currently in. Also, by the way, should have stuck with the Trump hair, Joy. Yeah, honestly, I like Joy with the Trump hair. That was my favorite Joy. My favorite one was her, but we found a video from her when I was going through the archives. Found a video of Joy Reid where she was laughing and mocking police officers and firefighters who were being fired for not taking the COVID vaccine. So think about that. She was laughing. She was mocking them. She was, at the same time, by the way, she was also slandering them, talking about how police officers go and attack minorities and saying how this is some major problem in society. But if you go and look at the FBI statistics, well, I actually find that's not true. Speaking of the FBI, by the way, had an interesting evening the other evening, last Friday night, after a confirmation by a certain individual where, what can I say? Folks, I went out with my brother Kevin. We were hanging out with the Fed on Friday nights. That's right, myself, my brother Kev Posobiec, hanging out with the Fed. That's Kash Patel, a.k.a. the director of the FBI. And he had an after party and was gracious enough to invite us to be there and have us out. And I have to tell you, the team that they're putting together, as well as the new deputy director, which news, of course, we all saw yesterday, Dan Bongino being appointed to that position, is going to be something that I think it's amazing, because in addition to all the good that this team is going to do over at the FBI, you just know that for all the bad folks at the FBI, all the bad people, it is going to drive them so completely insane that they're all going to flee the field offices. Think of it. All the field offices of the FBI now have to report to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. It's actually hilarious. So all of the field office directors are absolutely, the ones that haven't been fired, by the way, are absolutely going to be out the door in 2 seconds. And it's incredible to see. Folks, Patriots in full control. What else can I say? Patriots in full and absolute control, and we're not going back to the way things were. But at the same time, look, as fun as it is to troll the left, and we love doing that here on the program, and we all know I certainly love to do that on X, we got to get serious too. We have to remember that we inherited, the right inherited, and was elected to solve the crises that were going on, multiple crises in this country. Crises of a 3-tier Justice Department. And I've told you so many times, I believe it's actually 3 tiers, not just 2, but 3. Okay. The tier for the Democrats and the elites, the tier for the regular folks, and the tier for anyone associated with the right or Trump. That's on the justice front. On the military front, national security front, you got Secretary Hegseth, you got Director Tulsi Gabbard now. You've also got Pam Bondi at the Attorney General. And on the health front, you've got Secretary of Health, RFK. And Tanya Tay up on Twitter or X was tweeting earlier. So you remember how Elon Musk has put out this email saying, "Hey, you have to list 5 things that you did this week." Tanya Tay was joking. She said, "How long before RFK sends an email to all Americans? List 5 foods that you ate this week." Ba-boom.